Hello, Celine. How's it going? Everything good? My boy John, what's up, dude? Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start speaking. Oyana. Okay. All right. Now I got really nervous. um, I just got back from surfing, and I just like this came to me, and like I wanted to pass on this thing that came to me. I still get nervous, but Ayana, uh, Celine, hi, John, what's good, man? Anyways, um, yeah, so I want to talk today, guys. Something that came to me, I just wanted to pass on. Perhaps like it's the most important relationship you can develop in your life, and I want to talk about this relationship with God, with our Creator, um, the source, the fountain, right? I feel like for many years, throughout my late teens and somewhere in my 20s, like I lost this connection that I had when I was like a teen, when I was like a teenager, that I naturally had. I would always speak with my heart. I'd always talk to myself, and I never really would go like outside for for questions I had with my life. You know, I would kind of know like what to do in different situations. Not to say that you shouldn't ask anyone about anything, but somewhere in my 20s, like I lost that. I lost that primordial connection, that primordial relationship, which I call it like the relationship with our source. You can call it God, right? There's so many names, but that ultimate source, the creator of it all. And maybe like a year and a half ago, not that long ago, really, I had a really bad I had a really bad 2016. I had a really bad fall, like a really bad depression, and I think a lot of it had to do with me losing this relationship, because it got to a point in my 20s where I started doubting and going outside of me, asking other people, and I started like living other people's lives, you know. And just recently, I started coming back more and more, and asking my heart, asking God, and having this conversation with God, like constantly, or trying to, as much as I can. So that's what I wanted to come here and just like share that, share how important that was in my life, and that's it. Just like perhaps do an invitation. And it's pretty simple. It's like the most simple thing. I want to say like, you know, the source that created us knows us better than we know ourselves. Like it knows better. It knows us better than like our parents, right? Than our best friend. Uh, they say it knows like every hair we have, like how many hairs we have in our head. Uh, and that is like the ultimate intelligence, the ultimate, infinite source of wisdom, of intelligence. And when you call upon that presence of God, you're like connecting your mind to this like the most gigantic mind of it all, who's just that sees everything, and you're able to have more clarity, because it's like you're now receiving, like getting downloads of this ultimate infinite intelligence, and you're able to guide yourself, um, through the world in a better way towards your full potential. And as I was saying, it's like it's a simple thing. It's like going at night to sleep, and before when you're about to sleep, you start talking. You just start talking, like I am like, I personally don't think like the name matters so much. It's like whatever you believe in, but God, that ultimate source. And you start talking to God like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Hey, this is what I need. Or ask things like, hey, God, like, what should I do next? What should I do tomorrow? I like to plan my days like the night before. And I always just like ask God like, hey, like, how can I get the most out of my day tomorrow? And I plan that. Or how can I get the most out of this month or out of this week or out of this year? And anytime like nowadays, like the more and more, I'm developing this and myself. And I feel like the more you train, the more you practice, the better you get at it. And it's basically this like relationship that you have. And maybe like at some point we become adults and we think it's silly to have this relationship, this talk with our hearts, which I think is like the portal to God. And we stop. And we get into the turmoil of the world. We start like, we get into the noise, and we start losing that connection. And I think it's just like a metaphor of like, a cell phone call. Like God is always available. God is always calling you, always trying to talk to you, and send you like, information to what to do next or what to do, in the moment or whatever. And or with a question you have, whatever it is. And but we got to be available for that phone call. We got to be able to be like conscious about it, aware, and be like, answer that call or make the call, because God's presence is always everywhere. But we need to allow it, we need to connect with that. And it can be as simple as just having conversations, like simple, like, a conversation you have with a friend. Just be like, oh God, like I'm going through this, I don't know what to do about this situation. I'm in doubt about this or that. Like, please, please clarify my mind, my heart. Bring it to me in a dream or bring it to me through a friend, but make it clear so like when I see it, I know. I think one of the greatest things we can ask is wisdom. That's like one of the greatest things we can ask God, right? To give us a piece of the infinite wisdom, because that gives us the ability to make those choices, in life. And I think this is like perhaps the most important relationship you can develop. It all comes from that. Like, if you have a good relationship with yourself and God, your relationship with your parents will eventually get better. Your relationship with all your friends, everything around you, because that's like where we come. That's the source, and that relationship affects everything else, affects our life. And I just think like also, that ultimate source, God, is like, it's beyond anything we can imagine, as far as like, wisdom and love and happiness and bliss, pure bliss. And the more we call into that presence, like, we're bringing all those qualities into our body, into our life. I just wrote some like notes just because I didn't want to like miss anything just right before. Just I'll call. Yeah, like, another thing, maybe I'll just put it real quick. Like last year, I did a 10-day, Vipassana retreat. I was in silence for 10 days out in the desert in Joshua Tree. And it was just like a great way to, silence the noise, the mind, the monkey mind that's just constantly going, and be in silence, and through that helped me. So what I want to say is like, go to nature, go just be in silence, or or seek perhaps like a temple or like a church or a place where other people are also seeking that same thing, because there's power in that too. There's a lot of strength and power in that. And yeah, like the more you practice, I think, the better you get. Like I'm just a novice, I'm just practicing. Um, and I'm just like getting it back. I think we all naturally have it, especially as kids. We're super connected, and we tend to just like lose that as we grow, older, as we become adults, and we get into this noise, um, this turmoil, right? And we lose that connection, and then we start seeking outside of us, and we end up like living a life that's not what we wanted, what our hearts wanted, and it's not what God intended for us. Because I really believe that, like, God wants us to live the best life possible, and there will be lessons, of course. There will be like, a lot of challenges, but He wants us to guide us towards like the best path possible for our lives, like to get like to live our full potential, to get everything we can, like extract everything out of life. Yeah, I think I don't need to prolong this, but you guys feel free to join and say anything as well, your experience. I just think that my life has been getting so much better since I started giving priority to this relationship. For the people who weren't here in the beginning, talking about this relationship with the ultimate source, with God, with the fountain of life, the breath that gives us life, the the source that created us all, and because that source is pure love, right, and pure happiness and all that. And since I've been like having a stronger relationship with that source, through my heart, and just having conversations like in the morning, asking for certain things or talking, and at night, and during the day, taking sometimes a moment to just stop and be by myself. My life has gotten so much better, like, so I wanted to share that. Perhaps it's something that you can remember as well, and apply if you like. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'll give it like another minute in case there's like anything else that comes to me. But that was the point, just developing that primordial relationship, which is like the relationship with ourselves and God, Yeah. Do you guys want to say anything? Whoever's out there, Yeah. Anyways, focus on the breath. Don't waste the breath because it is the source of prana and wisdom. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, breath I think is it's like the first fuel, it's the symbol for life. I've read in the Bhagavad Gita that God exhales and inhales, and when he exhales, he creates everything, and when he inhales, he brings everything back to him, or her, this primordial source, right? And I think, when we are born with the breath, and when we pass away, we go with the breath. So I think the breath is perhaps one of the greatest tools to connect with life, connect with the source. Yeah, I mean, I was in Vipassana last year for 10 days, and it's been one of like the greatest things I've done in my life, amongst other things. But it had a very subtle but huge impact in my life. And I'll probably just make another video just about Vipassana. But the first thing we learned there was something that is super basic and perhaps we already all do. but it was just like anapana, you know. So it was just breathing and being with the breath. And you know, one of the things that does is, yeah, Vipassana is bomb, and it was bomb for sure. And you know, when you connect with that breath, your mind, you know, the frequency of your mind starts going from like a super, you know, busy frequency, and it starts just, you know, going like this. And when you're in that state, you know, alpha, perhaps omega, like, right, delta, then, you know, you start getting closer and closer to closer to yourself, you know, closer to yourself, to your essence. And, you know, we all have that light, right? We have that Christ consciousness already within us. So you're getting basically rid of all this noise, and you're just allowing space to your essence, your pure self that's already in there. And when you listen to that, it's like a more pure message, you know. So, anyways, guys, I don't know if I just talked a bunch of like random stuff here. Hopefully, like someone, you know, got some sort of inspiration. But yeah, it just, you know, I went surfing, and surfing for me is a great way to connect. You're in the water. It's amazing. You're breathing. You know, cold water gets your blood flow. And you know, just like I was like, oh, you know, I think I gotta, or you know, I want to do one of these. I'm super nervous. I don't know if what's gonna come out, but I just wanted to share that, which was developing that relationship with God, relationship with your heart, and you know, for a more potentialized life. Yeah. Okay. Much love to you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.